Good morning, guys. And of course, as soon as I start, my dogs start barking. As soon as I start, my dogs start barking. Of course, that's of course what happens because they have the front door open. They're letting some fresh air in, and the dogs don't like when people walk by the house. Apparently, they just can't control themselves. They can't. But it is what it is. We're gonna talk about the news today. I didn't really do any prep last night. I was incredibly tired. So we're gonna see what's in the news today. Which is also good because the issue with what I've been doing lately is I've been looking for news articles, after my show. So I'll do my morning show, go take care of whatever I need to take care of, and then I'll come back later in the day, later in the evening, and I will go through the news articles and stuff. And the issue with that is I often miss news stories that are in the morning unless I look through Twitter and stuff and happen to see them. But let's see. We can start looking through some news articles today. And I do have a couple of stories that we can pull up. I think I had some from yesterday as well. Let me see. Let me just double check my Discord. What kind of stuff do we have on Discord? We have that one from the Post Millennial. Let's see. Oh yes, I did want to talk about this because that was a funny one. That is from Not the Bee. Not the Bee's got a few good articles that I want to cover today, actually. What's up, everybody? Oh, we have new alerts as well. I added new alerts. I know we had the King of the Castle one for Rumble Rants now, but I changed it again. So now the sub gifter. So if you gift subs, now you'll get this one. Let's see if it pops up.
Oh, go do this. King in the castle.
I don't know why it doubled, but yeah, that's it. Normally won't double, but yeah, so that's what we'll hear when someone gifts subs. And then here's the Rumble Rant one. Now I was given this idea by Eternal Spartan when we were streaming yesterday.
Wow, it's very nice.
So if someone sends in a Rumble Rant, that's the sound effect we'll get now. I think it's a lot better than saying the B word, because there's a lot of times on there's been a few times already where like I'll get a rant and I go to make a segment later in the day for YouTube and stuff, and you're not supposed to cuss within like a certain chunk of the video. You're supposed to save that for later in the video so that way the algorithm misses it. But so we're gonna avoid that, and we're gonna have a funny little very nice. What's up, Allie? I see you in the chat. Hello. I see Bach as well. What's up, guys? Let's jump over to. I wanted to cover this yesterday, but my back was killing me, so I decided to end the show a little early. Did I switch the camera over in here? Yes, I did. For some reason, it's popping up the. Why is it popping up the alerts over here now?
Wow, it's very nice.
It's playing again. Never mind. I know what the issue is. I need to fix it next time I'm working with my OBS stuff. I know what the issue is. It's just we'll have to deal with it. It's fine. Anyway, I want to cover this story because this is absolutely ridiculous. Let's see here. Let's click this little fancy little button over here. It says start recording. We have this one from Not the Bee. Looks like the Pope defends award for pro-abortion senator, says those who favor inhuman treatment of immigrants or the death penalty are not pro-life either. That's from the Pope, what the Pope is saying. Catholic Church recently came under fire after the Archdiocese of Chicago planned to give Senator Dick Durbin a Lifetime Achievement Award. Senator Durbin is a lifelong pro-abortion activist. Yikes. Yikes indeed. Yikes indeed. To his credit, Durbin declined the award, but Cardinal Blas J. Kupik, Archbishop of Chicago, issued a statement in response. While I am saddened by this news, I respect his decision, but I want to make clear that the decision to present him an award was specifically in recognition of his singular contribution to immigration reform and his unwavering support of immigrants, which is so needed in our day. No. Just no. That's look, these people are not followers of Christ. They're not. They're working at political ends and using their faith for those political ends. This is not immigration reform. No, we need to kick all the illegals out, and then we can work on fixing the system. The point right now needs to be shut it all down, and then we can start working on getting these people out of here, and then maybe we can talk about bringing them back, bringing some of them back anyway, and the proper way. The Pope was approached by a journalist about the controversy, and his response was interesting. So Pope Leo XIV weighs in on Cardinal Cupic's decision to honor pro-abortion Senator Dick Durbin, saying, quote, "I think that it is very important to look at the overall work that this senator has done during, if I'm not mistaken, 40 years of service in the United States Senate." Let's see this whole tweet. I understand the difficulty and the tensions. Right. Oh, here, let's just watch the whole video, because if he's gonna say all that, let's actually listen to his words if he's gonna say all that.
Just wanted to ask one thing that has become a bit of a divisive subject in the U.S. right now, with Cardinal Cupich giving an award to Senator Durbin. Some people of faith are having a hard time with understanding this because he is or rather, he's for legalized abortion. How would you help people of faith right now decipher that, feel about that, and how do you feel about that?
I'm not terribly familiar with the particular case. I think that it's very important to look at the overall work that a senator has done during, if I'm not mistaken, 40 years of service in the United States Senate. I understand the difficulty and the tensions, but I think, as I myself have spoken in the past, it's important to look at many issues that are related to what is the teaching of the church. Someone who says I'm against abortion but says I'm in favor of the death penalty is not really pro-life.
That's incorrect. That is absolutely incorrect. I have never read the Bible myself, but people that have read the Bible have told me some secondhand information, right? Secondhand information. It is my understanding that that is not true. You are absolutely allowed to give capital punishment to people that are deserving of it. You need to have all the evidence available. I don't ever want to put a man to death that is undeserving of it. You need to have all the available evidence. You need to have actual proof before you carry it out. But no, absolutely, the government is allowed to enact capital punishment, and that does not go against the teachings of the church, whether you follow the Pope or you're just a regular Christian. Based on my understanding, the teachings in the Bible does not prevent capital punishment. So that's absolutely ridiculous to say that. And to even compare the two, he knows what he's doing here. To compare the two, we're talking about an innocent, unborn child that can't defend itself, and we're talking about a career criminal that likely committed a heinous crime that no human should ever commit, and they need to be put to death for it. We're talking about two completely different things. We're talking about an innocent life being killed for convenience of the parents, and we're talking about a criminal, likely a murderer or otherwise. Two completely different things.
So someone who says that I'm against abortion, but I'm in agreement with the inhuman treatment of immigrants who are in the United States, I don't know if that's pro-life. So they're very complex issues. I don't know if anyone has...
The inhuman treatment of immigrants in the United States. Dude, what are you smoking? What are you smoking? We're sending these people back home. We're sending these people back to where they belong. They don't belong here in the United States. If they belonged here in the United States, they would have a proper visa, they would have gone through the proper channels, or they would have citizenship. If they don't have those, they're not allowed here. How many people do they let in the Vatican? Not a lot. Why are you not accepting the illegals? Huh? Why don't you take some immigrants? Show us how to treat them.
All the truth on them, but I would ask first and foremost that there be greater respect for one another, and that we search together, both as human beings, in that case as American citizens or citizens of the state of Illinois, as well as Catholics, to say we need to really look closely at all of these ethical issues and to find the way forward as church. Church teaching on each one of those issues is very clear. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it is very clear, and you're not following the teachings. Like Bach said in the chat, the Pope is a politician with a pointy hat. Well, I mean, that's not a very pointy hat, but he does have a pointy hat. I know what you mean. Pope is just a dude, and people worship him like he's holy. And I know it's absolutely ridiculous. That's why I do not subscribe to any of these religions. If I were to subscribe to a religion, it would probably be Christianity because they have it the most right. But I wouldn't ever follow a single person who is just a human being like me. I would never follow him blindly. And I also don't want to follow any of the books that were written by people because I can't guarantee that what they're writing is being translated correctly. And what I mean, and I'm not talking about translated from different language to different language, what the Bible is supposed to be is teachings from God. Well, how do I know that the people that wrote the Bible interpreted what God was saying correctly? I don't. None of us do. None of us. It's all based on faith, right? They always say have faith. And I don't have faith in human beings because human beings are fallible. Being a Christian means following the only perfect person, Jesus. Yeah. Sure. Jesus, God. I believe in God. I believe God's real. God is absolutely real. I just don't think a lot of the earthly religions got it right. All we should do is follow Christ, take the advice of churches as an opinion. Exactly. Republic Boss nails it right there. You should only take it as an opinion because these are people just like you and I. These are people just like you and I. They're not perfect. They're not infallible. They're absolutely fallible, and they make mistakes. Someone who says I'm against abortion but in favor of the death penalty is not really pro-life. So someone who says that I'm against abortion but I'm in agreement with the inhumane treatment of immigrants who are in the United States, I don't know if that's pro-life. Dude, go screw yourself. We're talking about two completely different things. We're talking about people that need to be put to death because they are unsalvageable, a threat to society, and have committed a heinous crime. Those are the people being put to death. And then you want to talk about the inhuman treatment of immigrants. What's inhumane about giving these people food, giving them shelter, giving them clothing, and then giving them a free ticket back home? What's inhumane about that? What's inhumane is breaking into my country and then profiting off of the labor of all of my fellow Americans and then sending all that money back home or working illegally under the table, undermining the labor of this country. That's inhumane. Tyler, look at the Council of Nicaea. What is that, Guido? I don't know what that is. The internet response was swift and harsh. How do you become a pope and remain an absolute turbo normie? He probably has hate has no home here sign on his line. Brett Weingart. Catholics need to return to believing the word of God rather than relying solely upon the teachings of faulty human judgment provided by old men seeking favor from unrepentant politicians. Yep, absolutely. But like I said, I don't even know if you can follow the Bible. The Bible got it mostly right, but I don't believe it 100%. Abortion is the greatest tragedy of our time. Robert Cardinal Sarah. Yeah. Guys, more people have died from abortion than men have died in war. Like that, that's the statistic. I think it's from like the last 60 years or something like that. The last 60 years, we've killed more babies through abortion than men have died in war in all of history. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Bro, the Vatican had its own execution. Yeah, you're talking about the death penalty. Be like, oh, that's not what the Bible teaches. What's this? What's this right here? Oh, yeah, you guys used to execute people. What about the Crusades? What happened with the Crusades? Anyway, also worth mentioning by the Pope's own standard, St. Thomas Aquinas is not pro-life. Here's what Aquinas had to say about the death penalty. It is lawful for judges to inflict punishments, St. Thomas Aquinas. And then, let's see. I guess we could read this, yeah. Men who are on earth are set over others, are ministers of divine providence. But it is in the order of providence that the wicked be punished. Good stands in no need of evil, but the other way about. Whatever then is of necessity for the preservation of good cannot be itself evil. But for the preservation of concord among men, it is necessary for penalties to be inflicted on the wicked. The common good is better than the good of the individual. Therefore, some particular good must be withdrawn for the preservation of the common good. But the life of certain pestilent fellows is a hindrance to the common good. That is the concord of human society. Hence the apostle says, he beareth not the sword in vain, Romans XIII, 4, 1, or is that I, Peter 2? Well, look, I don't know Roman numerals off the top of my head. What is that? Romans 13, 4, 1, Peter 2, 14. Hereby is excluded the error of those who say the corporal punishments are unlawful and quote in support of their error such text as "Thou shalt not kill." Exodus XX 13. Let both grow until the harvest. But these are frivolous allegations, for the same law which says "Thou shalt not kill" adds afterwards, "Thou shalt not suffer prisoners to live." And as for both growing until the harvest, how that is to be understood appears from what follows. Lest perchance in gathering the tares ye root out along with them the wheat also. In the passage, then the killing of the wicked is forbidden where it cannot be done without danger to the good, as happens when the wicked are not yet clearly marked off from the good by manifest sins, or when there is ground of apprehension that the wicked may involve many good men in their ruin. The fact of the wicked being open to conversion so long as they live does not preclude their being open also to the just punishment of death. Indeed, the danger threatening the community from their life is greater and more certain than the good expected by their conversion. Besides, in the hour of death, they have every faculty for turning to God, well, that's a little scribbled out, penance. And if they are so obliged, or I'm assuming that it's obliged, it's blotched out right there, that even in the hour of death, their heart will not go back upon its wickedness. A fairly probable reckoning may be made that they never would have returned to a better mind. Yeah, so here you have St. Thomas Aquinas, literally, he lays it out right here, and he even cites text from the Bible saying that, no, there's absolutely just punishment for the wicked, and if anything, he quoted right here, that thou shalt not suffer prisoners to live. But it says ... so I wonder if there's something in between there. But thou shalt not suffer prisoners to live. Yeah, that's fair. I don't think if someone commits a heinous crime at the age of 20 that we all agree should be punishable by death, we should not then allow that 20-year-old to live into his 80s or even up to 100, depending on how well he serves himself. 60 plus years, 60 to 80 years sitting in a jail cell. Not only is that a burden on society and the tax dollars for the people that have to watch him and take care of him, but that's also just cruel to him. If he's not able to come back from the brink, he's irredeemable in the eyes of society and the eyes of himself, then the best course of action would to just be to end his life. That's ultimately what it comes down to. If we have a person who is so broken and so full of sin that they refuse to repent, they don't see the error of their ways, and there's no hope for them ever coming back, the best thing that we can do as a society is to just get rid of them. Why stick them in a jail cell? It doesn't make sense. I see a lot of you guys are in the chat. I'll read a few of them. Rageflower said Jesus time. The Crusades, at least the first few, were justified. If anyone wants to understand how probable the Bible is, just look into Frank Turek's 6 E's. I have never heard of that. Islam is the reason for the Crusades. Yeah, I see a lot of talk about a new crusade starting up. As for canon, the council established which books would be in the Bible, establishing biblical canon. Well, the first few of them. Yeah, Frank Turek is wonderful. Yeah, isn't there books that they removed from the current day Bible because they like felt like it was not proper teaching or something? The first few was very wait, what? After a while, the Templar got greedy and wanted money and power. He was power hungry. That is much more poetic way of saying kill them all and let God sort them out. Yeah, basically, our sergeant nails it. Too long, didn't read. Our sergeant got it. Anyway, yeah, we'll move along here. If I missed anything of what you guys said, I'm sorry, but we're gonna move things along. Frank Turek was a speaker at Charlie's service. Interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that individual. Anyway. Let's move things along here. Should I do an ad read? Probably should do an ad read before I forget, huh? Enoch and Nicodemus are great examples of removed books. I've heard of the Book of Enoch, but why was the Book of Enoch removed? I never heard why that one was removed. Isn't that the one that has like giants and stuff in it? He's a Christian apologist. Okay. Not gonna lie, guys. There's not a lot of good ads today. What is this one? Wait. Nah, I'm not liking any of the ads today. I'm not gonna do those. Not gonna do those. Not worth it. I don't know what those are. Anyway, yeah, isn't Enoch the whole Anunnaki thing? Because the last few of them were basically fantasy. He is a Christian apologist. Well, yeah, but how are the other ones not fantasy? You know what I mean? Oh, we got a Rumble rant. Is it gonna pop up? Come on, pop up. You better pop up. It's not popping up. Why didn't it pop up? Do I have to be at my desk? R Sergeant, I see that you did a Rumble rant and it's not popping up. Okay, well here, I will play the sound effect for you. Here, I'm gonna give R Sergeant what he wanted. Because it suggests that God is an alien race. Oh my god.
Wow, it's very nice.
Why did it double? Why are you doubling? Try that again.
Wow, it's very nice.
There we go. Wow, it's very nice. Thank you, R Sergeant. I appreciate it, man.
Wow, it's very nice.
Why did I didn't click it again? What happened? Anyway, whatever. The thing is broken. It doesn't want to work. What? It's just putting up random names. I did not get $178, but anyway.
Wow, it's very
now it
nice.
pops up. Are you serious? Whatever. I tried. You got a bunch of free sound effects.
Wow, it's very nice.
Why are you still going? What? Stop it. Look, I'm getting trolled by Borat right now. This is BS. Sacha Baron Cohen needs to quit it. The Book of Enoch suggests that God was an alien race. That the Book of Enoch suggests that God was an alien race that that was created. What? What was the book about hell and devil and demons that they removed? Yeah, the first book is pretty consistent with the rest of the biblical teachings. Then the second one starts to go off the rails, and then the third one is very off the rails. The woman's books, I believe, were the ones removed. Not all, but you can buy them separately. I don't know, it's just weird. Like, who's to decide which book is to be included or not? And how do we know that the books that are included should be included when the others shouldn't be? Like, what's the criteria for that? That's what I'm confused about. Jesus, Rumble is acting dumb today. Well, I apologize for that. I apologize if it is. Let's see. Virgil's Paradise Lost has a lot of the war between heaven and hell stuff. That sounds cool. That does sound pretty cool. I'm getting messages on Discord. What's going on Discord? Ah, okay. Anyway, doesn't involve me. Let's see. Let's go jump to some other articles, huh, guys? What do you say? We jump to some other articles. What does New York Post have today? Let's refresh the New York Post. Coward of a man, seething family calls, planned hit and run murder by New Jersey teen after she's mowed down by an alleged stalker. High holiday horror, maniac Manchester attacker kills 2, injures more at UK synagogue in Yom Kippur. Well, it's just another day in the UK. I mean, do you guys really want me to cover a knife attack in the UK? It's just another day in the UK. Zohran Mamdani plans to phase out gifted and talented program in New York City elementary schools. See. Danica Patrick goes off on NFL for Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show. Yeah, the Bad Bunny stuff looks retarded. OMG Rumble on the phone is acting a fool. Yeah, Rumble's been having issues the past few days. They rolled out some updates, and I think they're giving everybody the business. Absolutely smashed. 2 Delta planes collide, ripping off a wing while taxiing at a LaGuardia airport. Let's check this one out. Sounds interesting. Is it going to load the video? Animation shows the Delta flight. Let's see, there's no audio. So these are 2 Delta planes. That one parks there. That one was already building up speed, and ba-boom. Well, okay, so we got a little graphic for that. So 2 Delta planes collide, ripping off wing while taxiing at LaGuardia Airport. As passenger describes, moment flights absolutely smashed. And then here's the picture. Wow. Oh yeah, you can see the wing. It's all busted up. Absolutely wrecked the front of that. Is that a? Did it set off airbags? I would hope that these things have airbags, right? Just absolutely destroyed the front of that one. Destroyed the part of a wing. 2 packed Delta jets absolutely smashed into each other on the runway at LaGuardia Airport Wednesday night, according to authorities, and terrified passengers, destroying a plane's nose and ripping off a large part of a wing. The saga unfolded when the wing of an aircraft carrying 32 people that was departing for Roanoke, Virginia, suddenly collided with the fuselage of an aircraft arriving from Charlotte, North Carolina, with 61 people aboard just after 10 p.m., Delta said in a statement. The right wing clipped our nose and the cockpit. We have damage to our windscreen and some of our screens in here. One pilot could be heard saying in air traffic control audio. Excuse me. Photos from the scene showed that one of the plane's windshields completely shattered and the nose banged up on the wake of the collision. A huge part of the jet's wing also was torn off. We got absolutely smashed by another Delta flight. I don't know if we hit them or if they hit us, but it was super jarring. CBS News reporter Joey Anziato, a passenger on the flight from Charlotte, said in a video recorded from his seat just moments after impact. Well, there you go, dude. You just got the scoop right there. You were on the plane when it happened. CBS news producer. Everyone shot forward in their seats, and it was kind of like a little chaotic as soon as it happened. We were shocked at what happened. Anziato added that his plane was moving at a decent clip when the collision unfolded. Which plane was he on, though? Why does it look like that? Anyway. Another passenger, William Lusk, told ABC that his plane suddenly stopped, jerked, and jumped to the right after it landed. Everyone went dead silent, and as everyone went dead silent, the pilot calmly came on and said, "Hey, we've been in a crash." Everyone remained calm. Despite the damage to the jets, miraculously, no passengers were injured during the collision, the airline said. A flight attendant on board one of the aircraft suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to the hospital in the wake of the saga. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Let's see, photos and videos posted on social media captured emergency vehicles rushing toward the regional jets operated by Endeavor Air in the immediate aftermath. I mean, yeah, what happened here? So the plane was trying to take off, or it was landing? I can't tell. It was immediately clear what caused the mishap, which unfolded within the first 24 hours of the government shutdown that has upended federal services. Are you serious? They're blaming the government shutdown. They're blaming it wasn't, or they're not blaming the government shutdown. They're nodding to it like, I don't know, is that the issue here? We don't know. Prior to the shutdown, airlines had warned that the shutdown could strain U.S. aviation and potentially slow flights, given Federal Aviation Administration air traffic controllers would be among those workers forced to work without pay. It wasn't clear if staffing levels at LaGuardia were impacted at the time of Wednesday's collision. The Post reached out to FAA, but didn't hear back immediately. The Port Authority said LaGuardia's airport operations were impacted by the collision. Meanwhile, Delta vowed to work with the FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board to probe the incident. Delta teams at our new New York LaGuardia hub are working to ensure that our customers are taken care of after 2 Delta Connection aircraft operated by Endeavor Air were involved in a low-speed collision during taxi. Let's see. Delta will work with all relevant authorities to review what occurred as the safety of our customers and people come before all else. We apologize to our customers for the experience. We got a $1 Rumble rant from Guido. He said the shutdown doesn't shut down much of anything. I know it only gets rid of non-essential people that shouldn't be there anyway. If they're not essential, why are they there? If they're not essential, why are they there? It's as simple as that. You get a double very nice, Guido. But yeah, no, I wanna find out what happened here. It seems like this first plane was probably landing, and then the second plane that had the nose smashed into, this one on the right here, they seems like they just parked in the wrong spot. They just parked in the wrong spot, and this guy was trying to land. Yeah, let's not talk anything about the pilot. Yeah, let's not talk about the pilot who could see that there's a plane landing or see that he's about to smash into a plane that's parked in improperly. Don't blame either of the pilots, guys. It's not the pilot's fault. It's always the aircraft control. It's always aircraft control. It's never the pilots. We can't blame the pilots. Okay. We can't blame the pilots. All right. Well, yeah, this is totally pilot error, 100%. How stupid the FAA isn't touched by government shutdown. They're essential employees, and they are paid. Yeah, that's an insane claim to make from even the New York Post. New York Post is pretty good usually. They're saying that there's air traffic controllers provided by the FAA that are not getting paid, and they now have to work without pay. That's not how that works. It's illegal to force someone to work without pay. Second of all, wouldn't that fall under essential? Like, if the government is providing people to control our airways, direct flights and such, wouldn't that fall under essential? And wouldn't they get paid? I'm just putting on my thinking cap here. I would say that they'd probably get paid and they wouldn't be working without pay. Let's see. Yeah, they work without pay until the shutdown is over, then they get back pay. They are still getting paid, they just don't get the paycheck until the government restarts. Interesting. Well, then they are getting paid, like you said. They are getting paid. Well, I don't know. Well, the only people we have to blame for the government shutdown at this point are Democrats. So even the VA says it. You should go watch Joey's show from yesterday. They had a panel of women on. One of the women being Jessica, and Jessica was talking about how she had an email from the VA because of a stalling of benefits, and they even said that it's Democrats' fault for the government shutdown. I mean, you look at the vote for the last bill that they were supposed to put through, and they're refusing to vote on it because it doesn't include health care for immigrants. Like, it's all because of the Democrats that the government is shut down, if there even is an issue here. Which let's go over to Truth Social actually, because here we'll end the we'll end the video right there. Let me stop recording. I want to show you guys Donald Trump's. He had a real funny post. Let's see. Yeah, this one right here. I have a meeting today with Russ Vought. He is of Project 2025 fame to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people, so maybe this is their way of wanting to, quietly and quickly, make America great again. President Donald Trump. He also said the Democrats want to give your healthcare money to illegal aliens and open our borders to the criminals of the world. A deadly combination because everybody will come. But the reason this post by him on Truth Social is so funny is that he's just trolling people. He's talking about how he's obviously using the buzzword Project 2025, which scared a bunch of Democrats, and they were using it to fearmonger. And then he's talking about how, well, actually, the Democrats wanted the government shut down so that Donald Trump can go through and gut a bunch of these agencies, which is absolutely hilarious. That's a good way to make them turn around on their heels. We'll see if it actually... Bold move, Cotton. We'll see how it plays out for him. All right, let's go back. Go back to New York Post. F the damn immigrants. Tired of seeing these illegal MFers living in $500,000 houses with 6 brand new cars in the effing driveway and overflowing trash bins from all the food stamps. Yep, I would love to have those I would love to have all these benefits. I would love to get free stuff from the government. Wouldn't you guys? Wouldn't all of you guys love to have free stuff from the government? Oh, man. Let's see. Is there any other interesting stories that'll catch my eye? Let's see. Oh, complete lawlessness. Journalist painful black eye from Antifa protester hitting her with flagpole in Portland. Well, that's why they're labeled terrorist. Let's see. Fighter beats home intruder black and blue to protect teen nephew. Just God in my hands. That one sounds hilarious. Let's check this out. Well, we'll check this out and then we'll move on to another site. Let's see. MMA fighter beats Florida home intruder to protect his teen nephew. Quote, just God in my hands. Let's see what's going on here. Oh wait, this is the synagogue thing. Why is it showing me the synagogue stuff? I was looking for a video about this man getting beat for trying to break into a dude's house. Looks like a trained mixed martial arts fighter beat an intruder black and blue for entering his sister's Florida home, as the suspect claimed he mistakenly walked into the residence after a night of drinking. Henny Rojas was sleeping at his relative's home in Wilton Manors, just north of Fort Lauderdale, on Saturday morning when his teenage nephew frantically woke him up to tell him that there was an intruder in the living room. A trained fighter jumped into action to defend his loved one and the home. I'm prepared. It's not my first time. I don't feel pain, nothing. Rojas told the outlet. I don't have guns. I wasn't looking for a knife. Just God in my hands. That's it. Amazing. Look, man, when you're a mixed martial artist, you have the ability to take people out. And if the intruder isn't armed themselves, yeah, that's a losing fight. Rojas, who has been practicing MMA for roughly 3 years, confronted the intruder head-on, utilizing his fighting skills to engage the intruder, identified as Austin Karasani. The fighter subdued Karasani until police arrived to arrest him. Rojas' sister, Patrizia, and his brother-in-law were away in Miami when they recalled receiving a terrifying phone call from their son, who told them that a stranger was in the home. He was screaming, "Mom, call the police. Someone has broken into the house." Why didn't you call the police, buddy? Come on, dude. You're calling your mom. Call the police. Karasani, 31, appeared before a judge just hours after being taken down by Rojas, with welts covering his black and blue face. Yeah, here's the guy. Yeah, wow. That man got a beating. Absolutely got a beating. Karasani told police he had been drinking at a nearby club and was allegedly trying to reach his friend Paul's house in the area when he mistakenly entered the home. Rojas and his family said that they'd never seen Karasani before and had no idea who he was when he broke into their house. The alleged home intruder has been charged with home invasion and remains in custody at the Broward County Jail as of Tuesday, with a bond set at $20,000. As for Rojas, he told CBS 12 that he was happy to be able to use his skills to protect his family. It wouldn't change how he handled the situation with the intruder. Protect your family, Rojas said. There's a lot of crazy people who don't believe in God and who are only looking for damage. Now, that's a quote of the day right there, guys. There's a lot of crazy people who don't believe in God and who are only looking for damage. That's absolutely true. No truer words have ever been spoken, man. Good on this guy for protecting his nephew, protecting his family, and protecting his sister's home. Awesome work from this guy. And yeah, this is look, I tell people all the time, I'm not a fan of drinking. And it's not because I don't like the taste of alcohol. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is that it makes you a fucking idiot. Alcohol makes you an idiot. Drink in moderation, have fun, relax, don't overdo it. You overdo it, you just cause problems for yourself and other people. And certainly don't drive. Don't drive while you're high, don't drive while you're drunk. Either one is equally bad. Don't do it. They can't take these guns. Boom, boom. Nah, it makes me smarter. Yeah, it makes you a fart smeller. Not a smart feller. All right, that's enough dad jokes for the day. All right, let's move on to another news outlet. Let's hop over to Fox News. What does Fox News have for us today? Let's see. Does Fox News have anything interesting for us? Pelosi snaps a reporter over AOC shutdown question. Such a ridiculous thing. No, I don't care. That sounds like clickbait. Business booms 312% after cafe faces backlash for honoring Charlie Kirk. Well, why would they face backlash? Voluminous evidence against Kirk's alleged assassin puts defense on back foot. Well, yeah, there's a ton of evidence. So, and I'm sure there's more that's not even released to the public yet. Let's see. What else do we have going on here? Socialism's collapse on full display in Venezuela and Cuba. Well, yeah, it's because socialism doesn't fucking work. Coffee Giant changes its name for first time in 133 years, but it won't be permanent. Okay, I don't care. That's clickbait. Neighbor says teen parked outside her house for months before deadly hit and run. Well, that's I'm assuming that's the same story that the New York Post had on their front page. Let's see. Oh yeah, look, Israel forces intercept 39 vessels from Gaza aid flotilla. well, maybe you guys should stop trying to go to Palestine. I mean, Israel's clearly not going to let you there. See, Joe Rogan blasts insane media silence on arrest for social media posts. Well, I don't know what you want us to do. What do you want us to do, Joe Rogan? The UK is conquered. There's nothing we can do. GOP lawmaker warns shutdown is harming military assignments in letter to Hegseth. Well, the military doesn't not get funding. They're essential. So I don't know what you're talking about there. 7 Outer Banks home in just 48 hours collapse into angry Atlantic Ocean. That sounds insane. Let's look at that one. All right, we got this one from Fox News. Looks like 7 homes along North Carolina's Outer Banks have collapsed into the Atlantic in the last 48 hours. Let's see, how long is this video?
Even as Imelda races away from the U.S., dangerous waves, they're still slamming the eastern shores. On Tuesday, 5 homes taken out by the ocean as Humberto and Imelda has kept the Atlantic stirred. It's a sobering reminder of what a hurricane season can bring, even with just those fringe impacts from these powerful storms. Fox weather correspondent Katie Byrne is in Buxton, an area where homes are constantly vulnerable to beach erosion. Hey, Katie.
Hi, Stephen, and they're being tested right now. These homes built close to the water. A 6th home fell late last night here.
Why would you build that close to the water? I don't understand this. I've never understood these homes on stilts that are on the water. You're just asking for trouble. You're just asking for trouble. How often do piers and like piers and other things that go jutting out into the water get claimed by the ocean or swept away or need to be repaired? Like, I'm sorry, I get you want to have your beachfront property, but these houses, in my opinion, are just dumb. These are dumb houses. A drone video shows homes along North Carolina's Outer Banks collapsing to the Atlantic Ocean after massive waves kicked up by hurricanes Humberto and Imelda pounded the coast. 7 homes have now collapsed in the waves this week in Buxton, North Carolina. According to Cape Hatteras National Seashore, the most recent happening Wednesday night around 8 p.m., that's after at least 5 homes collapsed within 45 minutes of each other. Starting at about 2 p.m. Tuesday, a 6th home was destroyed by the water later that night, according to Cape Hatteras National Seashore officials. No one has been injured during the collapses, but reported that the homes in the area were recently declared uninhabitable. Yeah, because you built them in a terrible place. Including this most recent spat of collapses, the National Seashore said 19 privately owned houses have collapsed on the seashore beaches since 2020, the result of an ongoing battle with coastal erosion. You're constantly getting hit by water and moisture. Yeah, it's a terrible idea to have these houses here. Again, how many times do I have to say it? Tyler, have you seen the dad from South Carolina that was telling off the court over his daughter's murder? I want to know why I didn't know anything about it until now, and I live in South Carolina. Guido, if you have an article or something for that, send it to the Discord. I'll pull it up after this one. But looks like 3 of the homes that collapsed Tuesday afternoon were neighbors of Cottage Avenue in Buxton, while 2 other neighboring homes fell on nearby Tower Circle Road. The 2 additional homes that collapsed Tuesday night and Wednesday night were also on Tower Circle Road. I don't know how this is going to be cleaned up very quickly. There's a lot of debris. I think we're just going to get started. I think the rest of the week is going to be just as intense, if not more. We're going to have more houses falling in for sure. Both Humberto and Imelda have been swirling across the Atlantic, kicking up powerful waves that have been slamming the coastal communities in the Bahamas, Bermuda, and the entire U.S. East Coast over the past several days. And this is the result when you don't plan ahead for these things. The natural disasters occur. Waves can get dangerous. The ocean is unruly. It's not a good idea to have houses this close to the ocean, especially when there's no barrier to prevent the ocean at high tides and during events of storms. You're constantly going to be faced with erosion. You're constantly going to be battling the ocean. Literally, you're battling the ocean to have a property this close to the water. It's ridiculous. It's not smart. It's not a good investment. And I mean, they were recently ruled inhabitable. There are proper ways to have beachfront property. This is not the proper way to have beachfront property. And they even knew that the water would come up to these houses because that's why they put them on stilts. So these stilts are constantly getting hit with water and erosion. It's just a terrible idea, terrible planning. There's no way that people who own homes on a location like that would allow a sea barrier that would make it ugly. Yeah, it would make it ugly, but it would protect your house, which is the whole thing, right? What's up, G-Nels? Where the white women at? White women crying about neckbeard Antifas getting slapped around. You guys are funny. All right, anyway, let's move on from here. Wiggum, those islands are the barrier. Well, shoot, I mean, rich folks thinking they're above Mother Nature. They always think they're above Mother Nature, but they are not, unfortunately. Anyway, let's see what other stories we can find on Fox News. What other stories that Fox News has, huh? Let's see. Oh yeah, let's close that one out. All right. Is there any? I don't know if there's any other stories. Diddy hit with crushing courtroom blow. Well, I covered the Diddy stuff yesterday. 0-day flaws. Google races to protect users. Oh yay, zero day exploits. Yay, fun. Google is so good. I love Google. Google is great. That's why I use Brave and not Google. Hakeem Jeffries confronted on Medicaid funding for non-citizens during CNN interview. Let's see what happened here.
But they talk about the provisions, and it's right here.
Hang on.
Subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of health.
Pause. I was trying to go back. Oh my goodness. That was very loud. Thank you guys. What did we do? We hit the like goal? Yeah, we hit the Rumble like goal. Hell yeah, guys. Appreciate you guys. Let's see. So we got this from Fox News. Hakeem Jeffries confronted on CNN about Medicaid funding for non-citizens. Democratic leaders insist party is trying to save healthcare for 14 million Americans amid shutdown. But is that true? Is it 14 million Americans? Let's see.
They talk about the provisions, and it's right here. Subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of healthcare subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants. I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what it does do is...
It's a lie.
It's a lie, but what you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance. And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about their ability to get Medicaid. So they're non-citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal. Why even include that in a bill knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that to message? I understand that when you retake the House, you can get whatever you want passed, but at this point...
Well, what we're doing is fighting to protect the health care of the American people against the largest cut to Medicaid ever. 14 million American citizens are going to lose their health care as a result of what Republicans did.
You're talking about the subsidies again, but I'm talking about the non-citizens.
No, I'm talking about the Medicaid cuts, that document that you just showed me. That was the one big ugly bill. 14 million Americans are going to lose access to health care. Their hospitals, their nursing homes, their community-based health clinics are closing because of what the Republicans have done.
No, that's ridiculous. And then he avoids the question. And even then, a lot of these people shouldn't be on, getting benefits. A lot of these people just take advantage of the benefits. CNN's Jake Tapper confronted House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat from New York, on Wednesday about Medicaid funding for non-citizens as the Democratic lawmakers argued his party was trying to save health care. Tapper asked Jeffries about the extension of Obamacare subsidies after the government shut down on Wednesday, and when Democrats and Republicans in the Senate failed to reach a spending agreement before the end of the fiscal year 2025 on September 30th. Look, the entire medical industry needs to be overhauled. It needs to basically just scrap the whole thing and start again. It's absolutely terrible. Prices are terrible. Insurance is terrible. All of this stuff is terrible. Obamacare, I remember when I was growing up, when because I was a youngin, I was a youngin when all this stuff was going on. But I remember finding out that people that couldn't afford healthcare were then taxed when they had to go file for taxes. They were basically taxed or fined for not having healthcare. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like if a cop pulls you over and you got a broken taillight, and then you're like, "Oh, sorry, officer, I want to get that fixed, but as soon as I have the money, I'm gonna get it fixed." And they're like, "Oh, you don't have the money to get that fixed? Well, here's a ticket. Pay the ticket, bitch." How does that help people? How are you helping someone? Like, oh, you can't afford to fix your car? Well, here, this will help you fix it, right? Another ticket. There you go. Boom, ticket. I need about tree fitty. Yeah, no, and G-Nels is saying it in the chat. $500. Oh, you couldn't afford healthcare this year? Oh, here's $500. You owe us. You owe us for not having health. What? How does that make sense? The CNN host said that Republicans characterize it as you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants. I understand that that's not really an accurate depiction. And then Jeffries responded that that's a lie. It's not entirely untrue, though. You are allocating funds that would be used for undocumented immigrants should there be an emergency. And that's another issue. That's another aspect that I even don't bring up as often as I should. When these people are in our country illegally, they're using our emergency services, and then they're not paying for them. They're not properly paying the taxes. They're not properly contributing to the system. They don't have insurance because they're not citizens. So then they need the funding from us, right? They use our tax dollars, and then they get healthcare and health insurance, or healthcare, I should say, not insurance. They're not getting insured, but they're getting healthcare from this. And this includes undocumented people as well. This includes visa holders as well. This includes non-citizens and undocumented immigrants. It includes both. We just played the clip, so we can just go on down here. Jeffries insisted the Democrats were fighting against the largest cut to Medicaid ever, pointing to Republican-backed big, beautiful bill. You're talking about the subsidies again. I'm talking about the non-citizens. The House Minority Leader argued again that Democrats were trying to save healthcare for 14 million Americans. He's just avoiding the question. He's just avoiding question. He's asking why you would include funding for non-citizens. And this is CNN, Jake Tapper, CNN, even pointing out, why are you including non-citizens in the funding? Why? Like, he made the distinction. We're not talking about undocumented immigrants, we're not talking about undocumented illegal immigrants. We're talking about just non-citizens. Why are we giving funding for non-citizens to get health care? That should come out of their own pocket. If someone who is here and they aren't a citizen and they get hurt and they need health care, all that good stuff, sorry, but you should have travel insurance. You should have money to pay for this stuff. If you're here visiting and you're not a citizen, you need to have insurance from wherever you get insurance from. I've never traveled out of the country, but I know you can get insurance for these things. You need to get insurance. The government is not responsible for you. I will be raising chickens in Tennessee soon, I hope. Hell yeah, Amtrue. I haven't seen Amtrue in a minute. What's up, dude? Let's see. I like growing tomatoes. You like growing tomatoes? Nice. Simple solution. Don't go negative in your bank account. There you go. There you go. You don't need to grow the tomatoes, Amtrue. They are at the store. Exactly. Guys, where does milk come from? It comes from the grocery store. Where does produce come from? Well, it comes from the grocery store. It comes from the grocery store. See what happens, right, is we get these illegal migrants, and then we put them to work in the fields, and they sprinkle this little magical dust, and all of a sudden, a few months later, month or so later, maybe longer, all of a sudden there's food, and they just sprinkle more dust, and then it all just magically appears in the store. It's amazing. It's crazy how it works. I wish white people could do it. I wish white people could do such amazing work that they do. But white people don't have that little magical fairy dust, so they can't do the work that the immigrants do. That's why we have to pay them less too. Yeah. We don't have the magical dust, but we do get paid more, and that's why they won't hire us. Do you think that the provisions that provide healthcare for non-citizens muddies that message? Tapper pressed. No, you're referring to emergency care that some states might administer based on state law. We're talking about federal law. We don't have the ability to change state law. Right, you don't have the ability to change state law, so let the states fund it. Why is the federal government funding this crap? If the federal government has no control over the state law, why are you then forced to pay for that state's law? Why is the federal government paying for a state's decision? The state should pay for it. The state that wants to pay for these people should pay for it. Ridiculous. Other Democrats have also balked at Republicans' arguments that they were trying to provide health care to illegal immigrants. It's a total, absolute effing...
It's very nice.
It's very nice. What's up, our sergeant? Our sergeant sent in a Rumble rant. He said Democrats have to because they have lined their state's Medicaid roll with millions of illegal immigrants. If they don't get that money, their entire state medical system and government budget fails. And that's what happens when you build on top of illegality and immorality. You build a system that just doesn't work. And that's exactly why I have repeatedly said in regards to the Epstein stuff that if our government is built on a bunch of, pedophiles and degenerates and stuff like that, expose them and let it collapse. I refuse to be in a system where that's the case. I refuse to be ruled by pedophiles. But that's exactly the same case. They build these systems that don't work from the base. They don't work from the base, and they keep building on top of it. And then the base is not steady. It's not sturdy, and they just keep stacking on top of it. Like, oh no, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Just keep stacking. Just keep stacking. It's gonna work. And eventually, all this just comes crashing down. It doesn't work. Hunter Biden, is that you? What are you guys saying in the chat? I want more shutdown. Fix this crap. Exactly. The economy of scale shows the cracks. Yep. Dem-controlled states are parasitic. Sometimes it feels like that. Commies are annoying. Think of all the nice stuff that we would have if commies didn't do commie BS. Okay, I see what you were trying to say there. Think of all the nice stuff that we could have if commies didn't do commie BS. Yep. They create the problems and feed the problem and then never solve the problem. It's all by design. Look, both political parties will do it. Both political parties will create issues, create a solution for the issue that then doesn't actually fix the issue, but they can keep campaigning on it and they can keep stacking on top of it. Both parties do it. It's just more obvious when Democrats do it. And I've shown my political compass test. All right, I am a moderate. I'm a moderate that was shoved to the right. And I'm just pointing out facts here. I am not aligned to a political party. I refuse to give myself the title of conservative or Republican. Others have given me that title. So be it. It's not one I subscribe to. I would vote Democrat if a Democrat came on stage and was saying things that made sense, like closing the border and fixing the healthcare system in an actual proper way with a plan laid out. There's a lot of things that would get me to vote for Democrat, but they don't do the things that they say they're going to do. They don't do what they say they're going to do, and they just constantly keep messing things up. So why would I vote for a Democrat? And that's not to say Republicans are much better, but Republicans at least will do what they say they're going to do half the time. Democrats won't do it even like 10% of the time. They always talk around it. So that's why I've voted Republican the past few times in these past few elections. It's because Republicans make the most sense. South Park had it best. I always say South Park had it best. The elections are always between a douche and a turd sandwich. My philosophy on that is that a douche and a turd sandwich are both bad, but at least a douche has a physical purpose. What purpose does a turd sandwich have other than to be a fucking turd? Just play victim when it turns to ish. Sadly, it's been working for them. Yeah, no, it's crazy. They sit there and fail, and then they sit there and play victim after the fact. It's insane how that works. Amtrue hitting homers. When the Democrats do it, people die. Just saying. Well, they do not fix problems because they can't enrich themselves if they do. Yeah, I've said that a lot before. I mean, just look at California with the homeless population. How many centers do we have out here that's supposed to help fix the homeless population? How many places out here are supposed to be helping the homeless?
Very nice.
I love that new sound effect. It's very nice. Fishy, what's up, Fishy? I got a $2 Roma rant from Fishy. He said, "You report the news and have common sense. That's good enough for me." Look. That's all I ever try to do. And I implore every single one of you to hold me to the highest standard possible. If I am saying something that doesn't make sense, if I am saying something that's not based in fact and truth and reality, call me out on it and prove me wrong. Please. I love being proven wrong. You know why I love being proven wrong? Because then tomorrow I can be right. If I'm proven wrong today, tomorrow I can be right. So please, prove me wrong. I want to be proven wrong. There's so many things that I say, so many things that I point out that I don't want to be right about. So please, 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 prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. On anything I say, prove me wrong. I try to base all of my opinions in fact and reality, and that's how you should. That's how you should run things. You should run things based on fact and reality, and the truth. Anyway, well, I mean, those all kind of go hand in hand, but you know what I mean. Okay, Steven Crowder. Look, I've said it before, Wiggum. Steven Crowder he was my how do I put it? Steven Crowder is he's the man who introduced me to politics. At the end of the day, he's the one that made me interested in politics. The whole reason that I sit before you guys today is because of Steven Crowder. It's because of people like Steven Crowder. It's because of the people like Tim Pool. And it's because of the people like Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh. All of these people inspired me to do what I do. And they don't always get it right, but I absolutely... I just read that. Shitty Gov, you just threw me off. Shitty Gov just said, Crowder popped Tyler's cherry. Oh my god. Anyway, we're moving on. Let's see. What's the post millennial got today? What does the post millennial have for us today? Let's see. Refresh the page, make sure we're getting everything. Get off the page, Libby. What? Drag queen Lahore Vagistan, newest visiting professor in Harvard's gender studies program.
Professor Vagistan. Excuse me, Professor Vagistan. I'm sorry, do you go by Lahore or Vagistan?
What the hell, dude? What else do we have going on? A lot of arrest happening in Portland. I don't really care to cover it because it's whatever. They're not arresting everybody that they should, and that's my one complaint about it. They're just capturing people as they can, and I think they need to go harder. Gavin Newsom post AI video mocking Vance despite passing law protecting Kamala from AI-generated memes. Yeah, that's not surprising. Democrats are hypocrites. Pope Leo blesses block of ice for climate justice. What? All right, here's another. All right, we're gonna do this one from the Post Millennial, and then we'll do 2 more articles from the Not the Bee. What is this? What is this? We're playing the Bee or Not the Bee already? No, we're not playing. No, we're not playing the Bee or Not the Bee already. Gavin Newsom can't meme. Well, yeah, and he's also a hypocrite. He said not to do AI-generated stuff, and then here he is doing AI-generated stuff. So, go to Pakistan, watch Vagistan die. Damn, Clint. Ali said exactly. All right. We got this story from the Post Millennial. So we covered a story earlier about the Pope making some outrageous comments about pro-life and capital punishment. Well, here's another ridiculous thing that Pope Leo is now doing. Pope Leo blesses block of ice for climate justice. Quote, Lord of life, bless this water. May it awaken our hearts, cleanse our indifference, soothe our grief, and renew our hope through Christ our Lord. It's a holy block of ice, guys. Here's a holy block of ice. Can we drop this somewhere on like a demon? Just watch a demon evaporate. Pope Leo XIV blessed a block of ice at a climate change event on Wednesday, part of his ongoing effort to highlight environmental concerns and criticize those who ridicule those who speak of global warming. The event marked the 10th anniversary of late Pope Francis's I don't know how to say that. Encyclical Laudato Si, which calls on Catholics to care for the environment and address climate change. During the ceremony, Leo placed his hands on a block of ice in front of a crowd and blessed the water dripping from it, saying, Lord of life, bless this water, may it awaken our hearts, cleanse our indifference, soothe our grief, and renew our hope through Christ our Lord. I already read that, but I started the quote, might as well finish it. The display drew backlash online, with conservative Catholic commentators questioning why the Pope focused on blessing a block of ice instead of more pressing issues. Well, he also said that you shouldn't commit capital punishment for people that deserve it. Communists are shooting us and our children and burning down the church across the world. Can you help us, Pope Leo? Yeah, here, let's watch this. Is he gonna talk? No, we're just watching him bless this block of ice, I guess. All right, well, I was hoping for some sound, but we didn't get any sound. Horrific. Oh, this is Matt Walsh. Horrific. the whole thing. Pope Leo blesses a block of ice and then stands there while these communist freaks do some kind of weird pagan earth worshipping ritual, hippie ritual. The leader of the Catholic Church shouldn't be anywhere near this nonsense. What the hell are we doing here? What happened?
Invite you to stand for the blessing of the waters.
Like, this sounds like a... Like, guys, is it just me, or does this sound like this would be... Like, who said it earlier? Are we already playing B or not the B? Guys, is this the B or not the B? Is this AI generated? Is the B fooling us here? I think the B is fooling us, guys. Come on, skip. Skip.
Our Lord.
Yeah, whatever.
Creatore.
Get to the... I want to see the weird dance. What? What the hell?
Is hope by opening spaces for dialogue, creative energy, and solutions that we haven't yet dreamed of. Will you join us?
The singing is crap.
Echo beyond this gathering and
Yeah, that singing was garbage. Okay, I don't even know what's going on here. At the event, Leo emphasized the need for the governments worldwide to take stronger action on climate change. According to the Associated Press, the Pope expressed that the upcoming UN climate conference will listen to the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. Citing text from Pope Francis's 2023, Leo criticized leaders who have chosen to deride the evident signs of climate change, to ridicule those who speak of global warming, and even to blame the poor for the very thing that affects them most. He added, "We cannot love God, whom we cannot see, while despising his creatures. Nor can we call ourselves disciples of Jesus Christ without participating in his outlook on creation and his care for all that is fragile and wounded." Guys, climate change is real. I mean, climate change is real, but it's not something that humans have full control over. Do we contribute? Sure, we contribute. The industrial area put a lot of carbon into the air. We pollute rivers and stuff like that. This changes the geography of areas when we build cities and all these other things. We absolutely have an effect on the environment. We have an effect on the climate. There's no disputing that at this point. But what is in dispute is how much of an effect we have and how much we can do to change it, especially when you have other countries like China who refuse to back down on their climate agenda. They continue to pump out the most carbon out of any country. And it's, again, climate change would happen whether humans were here or not. The climate changes. The Earth changes. It's rotating around a giant flaming ball in space, and it's at a tilt. So eventually, it's going to tilt in a way where the climate changes. It changes. And guess what? The magnetic poles have been shifting too. Guess what's going to happen when the magnetic poles shift? The Earth is going to flip and rotate, and then everything will be all topsy-turvy. So climate change absolutely does exist. How much of an effect humans have on it, I don't know. I'm not going to put a number to that. But the Earth will keep on earthing. It's going to be an Earth. It's going to be a planet. We don't have full control over it like that, guys. It's climate change will happen whether we're here or not. Are we accelerating it? Are we making it worse in some areas? Probably, but that's why we need to have regulations on these companies. That's why libertarians don't make any sense when they're like, "Oh, don't regulate companies. Consumers will decide who they're going to buy stuff from." Yeah, you can say that all you want, but when someone builds a factory next to a river and decides to offshoot all of their waste into the river, someone needs to stop them from doing that. Who's going to stop them from doing that? Not the consumer. The consumer's not going to stop them from doing that, especially if they don't know what's happening. So, yeah, companies do play a role in this, and government does need to put restrictions on them so that they're not needlessly hurting the environment, but there's proper ways to do everything. And we also can't shut down production of energy, because many people will die if we just shut down energy production. And also, I mean, how much do people care about climate justice at this point? Even Greta Thunberg has moved on. She's worried about Palestine more than she's worried about climate change. So follow Greta Thunberg. We should be worried about the genocide happening in Gaza, not the climate possibly changing in the next 100 to 200 years. Anyway, what are you guys saying in the chat? Leave my boy Leo alone. He's just blessing the rock. Blessing an ice rock. Look, I had an idea, right? Like, so I play Warframe, and they have a giant melee weapon. It's a giant mace with like, they have ice in the game that doesn't melt. Like, it's impossible for it to melt. It might as well be a rock. And they have a weapon that you can get where it's literally like a giant club built with that ice rock. And I was just thinking about, you know, when the rapture happens, we need to get a hold of this rock, find a way to preserve it, and then make a weapon out of it. That way you can just run around slamming demons with it, you know what I mean? Just a holy water demon mace. Just bam, bam, just start knocking heads. Just saying. Just a thought. What else are you guys saying? Hey now, no need to call them names. We are better than that. Leo the Ishbag. Don't forget the story in Discord. Oh yes, I almost did. Thank you, Guido. Let's move on to that one, because I actually did forget. Sorry, I'm a little distracted today. I'm very hungry. Let's see. You put it in the live chat. Let's see. Pull this one up. All right. So what is this? This is part of State's newsroom. I've never used them before. Interesting. So let's talk about this one. So we have this from part of State's newsroom. South Carolina Daily Gazette. Father of slain 22-year-old wants federal prosecutors to handle daughter's murder case. Before his May arrest, the accused killer had been charged with at least 48 crimes across 14 occasions, according to his criminal record. Why is he on the street? The father of slain 22-year-old Logan Federico, who was murdered in a downtown Columbia neighborhood while visiting with friends at the University of South Carolina, wants to see his daughter's case handled by federal prosecutors after he said it was failures of the state court system that contributed to his daughter's killing. Steve Federico of Waxhaw, North Carolina, said if it hadn't been for the record-keeping mistakes and plea deals that led to lighter sentencing, the man accused of murdering his daughter would likely have still been in prison. He certainly should have been. He's out? Or what do you mean? Or he means the 48 crimes that he's committed across 14 different occasions? I think that's what he means, not the murder. He executed Logan. He told the South Carolina Daily Gazette on Wednesday, "I want him dead." Steve Federico said it's what his daughter would have wanted too. Logan believed in accountability. She forgave, she forgot, but she believed people should be held accountable. She wants justifiable vengeance. She deserves it. On Thursday, the chief prosecutor for Richland County, Democrat Byron Gibson, released a letter that says he hasn't yet decided whether or not to seek the ultimate punishment. It criticizes Attorney General Alan Wilson for suggesting that he'd take over if the solicitor doesn't decide soon. History of crime. Dickey, age 30, is accused of fatally shooting Logan Federico during the early morning hours of May 3rd after breaking into the house where she was staying. I mean, look, so I just want to say this here, guys. If I am ever murdered by someone unjustly, like obviously, if I go batshit insane and I decide to hurt people, please put me out of my misery. But if I am murdered unjustly, someone's trying to rob me and they end up taking my life, and you find out who did it, please give them capital punishment. If someone ends my life unjustly, give them capital punishment. According to police, Dickey killed the young woman amid a multi-day crime spree that began with him stealing a car in Richland County and ended with his arrest after he broke into a Lexington County home and set it on fire. Dickey remains in jail without bond after his indictment June 25th on 12 charges, including murder, burglary, and possession of a weapon during a violent crime, according to Richland County court records. He is also facing 23 charges in Lexington County, including arson, burglary, larceny, and banking crimes, according to court records. This guy's irredeemable. Capital punishment. The father says capital punishment. He says that his daughter would have wanted capital punishment. This guy is irredeemable to society. He's 30 years old. He's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. 50, 60, 70 plus years. Why should we have to pay for this man's miserable life? I would pay to see it ended. See, since he turned 18, police have charged him with at least 48 crimes across 14 different occasions, according to a criminal record report from the State Law Enforcement Division. Those are all before his charges from May. That arrest history includes 31 felony crimes, mostly breaking into vehicles, but also some theft and burglary. 10 of them were traffic crimes. He was convicted on 8 of those felony charges and pled 2 more down to misdemeanors. How do you get convicted on 8 felony charges of breaking into vehicles and robbery and theft, and you're out in less than 12 years? And what I mean by that, right, is they said that he started his crime sprees at the age of 18, or they have record of him since 18. Could have been before that, because it's often, depending on the state, that those records, when you're a minor, get destroyed. They get deleted. They're not on record anymore. But since he turned 18, he has committed all of these different crimes, and less than 12 years, he's out. It should be 2 to 3 years per felony. This man should have been in prison just based on those alone. Let's see. The arrest history included 31 felony crimes. We read that one. He served 3 terms in prison, November 2014 to May 2017. He only served 3 years. And then he served again in August 2018 to December 2019, only 1 year. A little over, that's a year and a half. And then, wait. Hang on. He served 3 times in prison. He served from 2014 to 2017. And then, my bad. I read that wrong. He served 3 years, and then he served from April to August in 2018. Not even a full year, just a few months. And then he also served another 2 years from 2019 to February 2021. Talk about a slap on a wrist, man. State Department of Corrections spokeswoman Christy Shane confirmed at the age of 19, a grand larceny conviction combined with a conviction for third-degree burglary landed him a 5-year prison sentence, of which he appears to have served half. Let's see. I'm getting messages from Guido, who sent me the story. Thank you again to Guido for sending me the story. Here's a video of the dad. Ooh, absolutely. Okay, we'll pull that up. Let's play the video of the dad. Thank you, Guido.
Father of Logan Federico, that's the 22-year-old woman who was killed in Colombia back in May. The father is now speaking out once again, and a South Carolina lawmaker is also taking action. Logan Federico was shot and killed while visiting friends on May 3rd. Police say Alexander Dickey broke into the home she was at, killed her, stole a car, and then used stolen credit cards before he was arrested. Dickey had nearly 40 prior charges, including burglary and armed robbery, and had a history of pleading to lesser offenses in order to avoid long prison terms. While Logan Federico's father, Steve, telling members of Congress that Fifth Circuit solicitor Byron Gibson has never contacted him about his daughter's case.
She was 5'3". She weighed 115 pounds. Bang! Dead. Gone. Why? Because Alexander Devontae Dickey, who was arrested 39 goddamn times, 25 felonies, was on the street. How about that?
Well, after that testimony, Congressman Ralph Norman now calling for Gibson's impeachment, saying someone with Dickey's record should have never been back on the street. We'll continue following up on this story.
That's absolutely terrible, dude. I mean, this never should have happened. This literally never should have happened. For breaking into a vehicle in 2013 and another 2014 burglary charge, judges assigned him probation. Just slap on the wrist after slap on the wrist after slap on the wrist after slap on the wrist. At what point do we sit here and say, this guy's not getting the message? This guy's not getting the message, and he's a threat to society. The only thing that comes to mind when I hear stories like this is that it's on purpose. Same thing with what was that Ukrainian woman that lost her life on the subway? That guy shouldn't have been on the street either. Yet he was. And why was he? Because our government wants us afraid, and they want us. They let criminals out, and then when a law-abiding good person fights back, they punish them. It's ridiculous, and it's fucking backwards. Then, in 2023, police arrested him for burglary again. After prosecutors and Dickey reached a plea deal, a judge had the option of sentencing Dickey to as much as 5 years in prison. The judge also could have rejected the deal, keeping to the original second-degree burglary charge that comes up with penalties up to 10 years. Instead, the judge ruled that the 411 days Dickey spent in jail waiting for his case to proceed was enough time served. He was then let out on probation. Impeach that motherfucking judge and stick him in prison for manslaughter. Dereliction of duty. Disgusting. I'm appalled. The issue, Lexington County's chief prosecutor told NBC affiliate was the earlier burglary charges didn't show up in his criminal history record maintained by SLED, and the plea deal had treated the burglary as a first time for that offense. Despite Dickey's earlier convictions, he had over 48 fucking convictions. 48 known convictions. He had 48 known crimes, over 30 of them being felonies. You're telling me that this last one in 2023, when the judge gave him 411 days and said time served, that shit didn't pull up on his record? Had they known, 11th Circuit Solicitor Rick Hubbard told the WIS his office wouldn't have struck the deal. Oh yeah, sure, dude. SLED's explanation was that it never received fingerprints from the 2014 burglary arrest. A receipt of fingerprints is what prompts the agency to add charges to someone's record.
Very nice.
Thank you. That's a good sound effect to cheer me up. According to spokeswoman Renee Wunderlich, the state police agency did not respond to the Gazette's question on any policy changes since the updating criminal records to prevent similar issues in the future. Our sergeant sent in a $2 Rumble rant. He said the oldest trick in the book stop people's ability to solve their own problems and then ignore the problems until they beg you to take their rights away to fix it. Exactly. They're doing it on purpose to dismantle this country and this society and our culture. These people, these communist bastards, are letting these people out on the streets to destroy good people like you and the rest of you, and like me and the rest of you in the audience, is what I meant to say. They do this to destroy us, to dishearten us, and to blackpill us. That's the ultimate goal, is to destroy a cohesive society. Because without a cohesive society, they can rule the rubble. That's what they want. They want the government's one big pyramid, our society's one big pyramid, and they want to see it all crumble so they can rule on top of the rubble. It's ridiculous. Let's see. In Steve Federico's mind, everyone involved played a role. He blames the judge and the solicitor for not researching Dickey's past before approving a plea deal, let him back out into the community. Soft on crime is a problem, he said. This happened because of that. Yeah, we don't need to read the rest of this whole thing. I feel terrible for this man's family. This is absolutely terrible. This is just another case of something that didn't need to happen, but because of government neglect, government negligence, and maybe even government malice, he was back out on the street and ended an innocent woman's life. Ridiculous. Sorry, Taurus G3C. What are you talking about, Wiggum? If any of you are low on funds but need a concealed carry, the Taurus G3C is a very good, cheap pistol. Well, I definitely need... I am definitely going to be looking into getting a handgun soon. I currently only have a 12 gauge for home defense. But who knows? I live in California. I might shoot someone in my house because they broke in and they're threatening me, and then I get arrested. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that crazy how that works? We're turning into the UK and Canada. It's disgusting, guys. Absolutely terrible. Let's see. They make a CA version. Good. Anyway, just for you. Thanks, buddy. Anyway, thank you, Guido. That was a really interesting story. I'm glad that we talked about that one today. That's incredibly tragic, man. And speaking about a fallen country, let's talk about this. I have on screen right here. We have this from Not the Bee. Apparently, British police will no longer investigate bike thefts at train stations, but hurty words are still punishable by jail. No, friends, this is not satire. This is not the Bee. This is not the Bee. This is a real article. Bike thefts at train stations decriminalized. I wish this was a joke, but it's absolutely true. The police have announced today that they will no longer investigate this, but they will still arrest you for hurty words online. The UK is becoming a third world country. Bike thefts at stations decriminalized. From the BBC on Thursday, October 2nd, in the year of our Lord 2025, the British Transport Police, BTP, says it will not investigate bike thefts outside stations where the bicycle has been left for more than 2 hours. Of course my bike's gonna be there longer than 2 hours. I'm getting on the train. Where do you think I'm going for the next 2 hours? What? It means most bike thefts will not be investigated and CCTV footage will not be looked at outside of 2-hour time frame. What's the point of going anywhere? To prevent bike thefts, which have skyrocketed, British authorities have installed safe storage units at train stations that lock bicycles into steel frames. How do they do that? Easy. Battery-powered saws. How do they still steal them? They just use battery-powered saws because you can use power tools. Power tools exist. Holy crap, that's loud. Thank you.
Hey, that's not your bike. Hey, that's not your bike. Move down along. Hey.
Yeah, these people are pathetic. These people in the UK are fucking pathetic. They won't fight for their country. They won't even fight for a bicycle that a guy is clearly stealing in front of them. These people are pathetic. They need to be conquered, and they need to be saved. They will welcome us. They will welcome us. Lighters and screwdrivers also work for light chains. Usually, usual suspect in London wants a bike, so he decides to steal it. We can't get used to this.
Yo, fam, this is someone's bike. Is this someone's bike?
Pathetic.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. You just sit there and watch him do it.
What the fuck you doing, man?
Yeah, well, it's stupid. This is a fallen country. Sometimes, however, thieves don't have any tools handy when they see a bike they'd like. Let's see, what is this guy doing?
Leave it alone. What? Leave it alone. Walk away.
He said do something. Because he knows there's no repercussion.
Does anyone call the police then?
Call the police. It's decriminalized.
Do you want to stop him? Making a bite.
Ridiculous. Fallen country. The British police say that they have bigger things to worry about, so they aren't going to do anything about stolen bikes anymore. The BTP said that there are more times our officers spend reviewing CCTV, the less time they have available for patrolling railway stations and trains, investigating crimes which cause the most harm. Oh yeah, like arresting people that post hurty words online. Mean words online are more important. So they don't have time to look at CCTV, but they have time to look at X, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. They have time for that. It starts with bikes. What other crimes will the British police deem too unimportant for their attention? Probably break-ins. Because you're not even allowed to defend yourself in the UK. That's why these people aren't fighting back, because literally they will get punished if they fight back. Simon Feldman has had one bike taken already from outside Watford Junction Station, and an attempt was made recently to steal another. He informed the BTP, which told him officers would not investigate the theft, which happened while he was on a shift in London, as he had left the bike at the station for 10 hours. Again, They said, oh, if it goes over 2 hours, we're not going to investigate it. This guy rode his bike to the train station, took a train, went to work. Do you think he's going to be back in less than 2 hours? Oh, and then when his bike gets stolen, I guess he just has to buy another one, huh? Fuck him, right? A good bike might cost a few hundred British pounds. A really nice bike, the kind that avid cyclists like, might even cost a few thousand. If they know their bikes are just going to be stolen, why would they bother buying nice bikes anymore? Will they bother biking at all? What happens to the biking industry in the UK when no one is buying bikes anymore? Well, what about all the coffee shops, patisseries, parks, and other little shops that bike commuters regularly frequent? Mr. Feldman said that most secure parking was next to useless. Lots of people across the country cycle to a station every day, and their possessions aren't being looked after. They're not safe. Hundreds of thousands of pounds are being thrown into secure bike parking, and it's not secure. Tom Fions of the London Cycling Campaign said this: many victims of theft in the capital just stop cycling. Meanwhile, it is illegal to say mean words on the internet in the United Kingdom. Judges may throw you into jail for 2 years for posting Facebook comments or memes. British man sentenced to 2 years in prison for a Facebook comment.
To a post questioning why, you wrote, because they're over here, given life of Riley, off the tax us hard-working people earn, when it could be put to better use. Come over here, with no work visa, no trade to their name, and sit down and doss, and then there's more people being put out homeless each year. They get top band priority on housing. You went on to say that you did not want your money going to immigrants who, quote, rape our kids and get priority, end quote. Although you said that you had no intention of carrying out any act of violence, there can be no doubt that you were inciting others to do so. Otherwise, why post the comment?
Are you fucking
expressed
serious?
Remorse, but by that time, it was too late. For the offence of publishing written material in order to stir up racial hatred, there are sentencing guidelines which I must and will follow.
Fallen country. Absolutely a fallen country. I was waiting for him to be like, oh yeah, murder all the immigrants. He didn't say anything bad. He literally said, I don't want my money going towards illegals that shouldn't be here, that commit crimes and rape our people. What is wrong with that comment? Literally, you're sentencing a guy for 2 years in prison, for criticizing the government. That's what the UK is now. That's what the British have become. You criticize the government online, jail. People steal your bike or your property, don't worry about it. Yeah, I didn't hear anything wrong. What was wrong there? Let's see. Someone has been caused anxiety based on your social media post, and it is why you're being arrested.
No. The Swedish Hampshire police would realise how ridiculous this is. It is. Of course, I'm trying to come to this.
What did it need to come to?
Tell us why you escalated it to this level, because I don't understand. I posted something that he posted. You come to arrest me. You don't arrest him. Why has it come to this? Why am I in cuffs? Because there's something he shared, then I shared.
Because someone has been caused, obviously, anxiety based upon your social media post. That's
not his.
Why you've been arrested.
I'm not responsible for how people react to my post. I'm not responsible for people getting anxiety from my opinion. I'm sure there's plenty of people that come in here and they get a lot of anxiety from my opinions. Oh, yeah, I'm true. It's not just that anxiety is a crime now. Giving someone anxiety is now a crime. Hurting someone's feelings is a crime. That's essentially what they fucking said. This is from 2022. They've only fallen further since then. I really like X, only social media I have. So, I mean, that's like the only one I use. I use Instagram for memes and stuff. But I barely touch Facebook, if at all, anymore. What does it say here? Never mind the memes, though. You could also be arrested for asking people to speak English in England. Absolutely ridiculous. And then it links to another article. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's freaking retarded. Absolutely freaking retarded. Anyway, we're gonna start to wind things down here, guys. Let's move on back to the desk. I appreciate all you guys hanging out today. Freaking amazing. Thank you guys all for the Rumble rants. Who all sent in Rumble rants today? That was very loud. Hello. Who all sent in Rumble rants today? Let's see. Should be able to pull that up, can't I?
It's very nice.
We got R Sergeant. He sent in more than one today. He sent in about 3 of them. It looks like R Sergeant sent. Oh,
It's very nice.
wait. Yeah, looks like he sent in about 3 of them today. It's all catching up now.
Very nice.
I'll fix that on the next one. But I know what the issue is there. Even though it's kind of funny. But yeah, our sergeant sent in more than a few. We got one from Guido earlier in the show, and Fishy also sent one in. Thank you guys all for the Rumble rants. I really do appreciate it. It's not necessary. I would do the show with or without the Rumble rants, but it's definitely a nice little cherry on top to have such an amazing community that also supports me in such fantastic ways. Another thing, as is tradition here, we are going to end on some music. And I think I'm going to end with the Happiness Will Make Them Smile song. I know a few of you didn't like it last time, but I do like the song. It's my type of music, and I also wrote the lyrics. So you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm going to find someone to rate out to, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good chance that I don't have my morning show tomorrow, but I will do my meme review because I didn't do that last week. Good chance I won't have my morning show tomorrow. Maybe I'll do my normal time slot, or maybe I'll take Joey's old time slot. I have some errands I need to take care of in the morning. But I will be back for the meme review, of course. I will absolutely be back for the meme review. But you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll be on. If you guys are on the Timcast Discord, or if you're not, I recommend you join. I will be hosting After Dark tonight. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to stream it anymore. So we only got the 1 episode on Rumble. If you don't have anything else going on, I recommend you go and check out that episode of After Dark we did, because it is the only one I will ever be able to do. Maybe we'll be able to do something in the future, but it won't be on the same platform, unfortunately. Anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm heading out now. Later.
Happy, 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 yeah. Yeah. Happy, 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 yeah. Yeah. Your happiness will make them smile. Stay out of the now, they're gonna turn up the dial. Their smile truly is quite wild. They smile while you smile. Their gold comes with a toll. Your happiness makes them smile. Trying to gain through pain the things you've made by making a trade. Your happiness for theirs, which will it be? Happiness is something they don't have. Emptiness is what they grab. Pursue happiness, it will be met with nasty days. While they pursue your demise, that's the true prize. Happy, 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 yeah. Yeah. Happy, 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 yeah. Yeah. Your happiness will make them smile. Please stay out of the now. They want your happiness. They don't like this shit. Better not dare, as they tell you life's not fair. Happy, 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 yeah. Happy, 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 yeah. Happiness is something they don't have. Emptiness is what they grab. Pursue happiness, it will be met with nastiness. While they pursue your demise, that's their true prize. Pursue happiness, it's long overdue. Like frogs boiling in a pot, they come for you. Pull you down to the depths as your smile turns to a frown. Your happiness really did make them smile, even if it was just for a little while.